Good evening. If you have a question, if you can just get my attention and wait for the microphone, we'll come to you. Luke Edwards from The Telegraph.
You know where I'm going to start. Do you feel a huge sense of injustice at the end of that penalty decision?
Yes, I do. I think it was, in my opinion, it wasn't the right decision. So many things to take into account in that moment. I think the speed first. I mean, it's a ricochet that when it's slowed down looks totally different to the live event. Ball hits his chest first, then comes up, hits his hand. But I don't think his hand's in an unnatural position. I think they're down by his side. He's running, sort of in a running motion. I feel it's a poor decision. I think it was hugely frustrating for us because in that moment you know how little time there is left in the game, but nothing we can do about it now.
We've been scratching around and talking to referees, experts back home, and they say that it's not actually in keeping with the guidance that's been issued by UEFA, so it shouldn't have been given as a penalty. Are you struggling to contain your emotions? You're normally very calm and considered after games.
Yeah, of course, but I think I have to control myself. That's my job, but it doesn't do any good to lose control of what you think and what you say. But I just feel for the players after what they've given today and how we've performed in very difficult circumstances. And what that decision does to the group, because now the destiny is not with us, and that's tough to take after being so close to being in that position.
Just finally, you must be, you've hinted at it there, but what a performance from the players. You couldn't make any changes. You kept the same 11 on the pitch, and you're so close to probably one of the best European results in the club's history.
Yeah, I think that will be the emotion as time goes, I'm sure. We'll look at the positive of what the players gave today. I couldn't ask any more of any individual on the pitch. I think they've totally committed to what we've asked them to do. Some massive performances from individuals and the team together. Really disappointed for them. They don't get to share that moment of success, but we're still in the competition. We're still fighting, and that could have been very different. They did miss chances today. So I think we have to look at the positive, not the negative.
Keith Downey?
Eddie, how are the players in there after that?
Naturally frustrated, emotional. Yeah, so I think it would take a little bit of time for the emotions to turn to a positive, which I think it has to for what we've given, and not just today, but for a huge length of time. For me, the players have been absolutely outstanding, and I think they're a great representation of the club at the moment with what they're giving. And I think we've gone to some very tough grounds in Europe, some very tough grounds in the Premier League, and they've always tried to deliver the right product for the club.
A word for your goalkeeper tonight. He was immense, wasn't he?
Well, he was, and I alluded to it earlier. They did have some chances in the game, and our goalkeeper Nick made some fantastic saves. He has done that consistently, and we were always going to need that kind of performance. I think, especially in the second half, it was never going to be as much as we wanted it to be. Us dominating the game, I don't think that was realistic in that moment with how the game had gone. There was a little bit of fatigue in the camp, and the lads dug in, and we were so close to getting there.
I know it's early, but how do you get over that, the nature of the ending?
Well, I think we have to look that we're still in the competition. So I think first thing to do is look at that, because it could have been different tonight. So that game now is going to take on huge significance for lots of different reasons, and we're back at home. We're excited by the game when it comes around. So I think that they're huge positives for us. So that's why I don't think we should lose fact of that, despite the disappointing ending.
Okay. Dominic Sker?
How disappointed are you for Tino Livramento individually after such a big performance from him, and how the role he played in the first goal as well being so crucial?
Yeah, I don't think it's a reflection on him, the fact that the penalties happened against him. I think it's just one of those things. I thought he was brilliant again tonight, defensively especially, up against a very good opponent. I thought he handled himself really well. He was dogged, he stuck to his task. He defended in partnerships really well. And of course, played the crucial role in the goal. And he's such a talented player. I do believe he can play off both sides of the pitch, and he's done really well in the last two matches on that left-hand side.
And what was going through your head when the decision was still up in the air in terms of the penalty, and the PSG players are sort of swarming around the referee and it's going to VAR?
Yeah, sort of fearing the worst, just because I can't remember how many times, the third or fourth time it had happened in the game, and you sort of fear that due to numbers, that one's going to go against you, which you shouldn't really feel that every decision should be taken on this independent moment. But of course, when he goes to the monitor, you fear the worst, and you just hope that referees in that moment can see it clearly for what it is, rather than what the opinion they're getting from somewhere else. But it didn't happen.
Damien Spellman and then Martin Hardy behind you.
Eddie, when the dust settles, you're going into the final game with a chance still to make the last 16. You know, when the draw was made, a lot of people might not have thought you would get that far. That's something to cling on to.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think next couple of days that will become more relevant in our thoughts. I think, as you say, when the draw came out, it was the group of death. I don't think many people gave us a chance of qualifying from it. And sitting here now, I'm a little bit frustrated that it's not in our hands, because I think when I even look back at the 2 Dortmund games, I felt we could have done better in those matches. But I don't think it's a time for that. I think it's probably a time to be positive and to say that, you know, if we can beat Milan, then good things can happen from it.
Martin?
I think it's 15 minutes till your birthday, Eddie, is that right? So, happy birthday. Is it
Don't
tomorrow?
know, is it? I've got no idea. I've lost track of days.
Have you ever felt so deflated going into your birthday?
No, you're right. It is, yeah.
Had you genuinely forgotten?
Yeah, I had, for a split second, yeah. It's not my priority, as you can tell.
Yeah, sure. Have you ever felt this deflated going into your birthday, and can you still qualify for the next stage of the Champions League?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm deflated. I think I'm obviously, I don't know what the word is about the decision, but also then you have to look at what your players have given.
Furious?
Well, yeah, possibly, but you have to look at what your players have given. I can't be deflated by what my players have given tonight. I can only be extremely pleased with everything that they've given, because then you're looking to the future, and you feel that when we get some players back from injury, we're going to be a really competitive squad in every competition. So I think there's a lot of hope and a lot of positive feelings around what has been a really disappointing last couple of minutes of the game.
Did you say anything to the ref or the officials, and did they say anything to you at the end of the game?
I'm not a great one for that moment. I'm not a great one for seeking explanations at the end of the game. I don't think it's the right time to do it. I don't think it looks good. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I'll do from this point.
And finally, how much have you enjoyed being in the Champions League, and how much do you want to stay in it?
Yeah, I loved every second of it, and we're desperate to stay in it. We really have, and I think we've been thrown in the deep end with the group in high-class opposition, some great stadiums and brilliant atmospheres that we've played in, and we are desperate to stay in the competition and show a better version of ourselves, because I don't think people have seen that yet. We still feel there's a lot more that we haven't shown, so we'd love the opportunity to do it.
Okay, last up, Jacob at the front.
Hey Eddie, a few injuries and stuff means it feels like there's been a few setbacks in recent weeks, but do you feel like this was a setback tonight, or solely because of a decision or because of a performance? Is it much more than that?
Yeah, no, I think it's much more than that. I think we've shown that despite huge numbers of players, quality players not being here, that the group's stepped up and given more. We've shown that the spirit and togetherness and the willingness to fight for each other is as good as I've ever seen it at any football club since I've been involved in the game. And we're very proud to represent Newcastle, as I've said that many times before, but especially on the European stage. And hopefully we've given reason for everyone to be proud of us back in Newcastle.
And you reiterated yesterday that something which motivates you is the fear of failure, but how do you send out a team in a night like tonight with hostility to play with fearlessness?
Well, I think that's attached to how you work day to day. Players need to enter the pitch in a really good, positive frame of mind, believing that they can play their natural game without fear of consequences if something goes wrong. So I'll always take the blame if there's blame to be thrown around, and I want my players to play with freedom.
Okay, very last question, gentlemen, on the third
Hello,
row.
Coach. Hello. How's your opinion about PSG performance tonight?
Yeah, I thought PSG played very well. No surprise, the technical quality they have, the individuals they have that can hurt you. They started the game well, so we needed to be really strong at the beginning of the game to make sure it didn't get away from us. I thought we were. We believed we could create chances, and we created a couple of really good ones. And then leading the game 1-0, I think the second half was always going to take that pattern as much as we didn't want it to. we sort of accepted our role in having to defend, and we defended so well. But from their side, they missed a lot of good chances. But I think you have to credit us in making them do that.
Okay, thank you everybody. Safe journey home. Thank you.
See you soon. Thank you.